Here's a chart looking at the men's 100 meters and the total number of athletes that broke 10 during each given season. As you can see, around the turn of the millennium, the number of athletes that managed to get under 10 under legal conditions was a little bit under 10, about 7 to 9 athletes per season, and during this time, getting close to 9.80 seconds was the key to finding yourself at the top of the world rankings. Now, from 2000 to 2002, Maurice Green was the GOAT, claiming the Olympic title in the year 2000, and he also won the world champs in 2001, not to mention a world record in 1999, but that was before this chart began. However, moving along this timeline of sprinting, we see the introduction of Usain Bolt to the world in 2007 and in 2008. And the moment that Bolt broke the world record in 2008, the rest of the sprinting world responded. You see, along with lowering the world record 3 times within a 1-year period, Bolt also raised the expectation of what was even possible in the men's 100 meters, and following behind him was a significant increase of sub-10-second sprinters. From the year 2000 through 2010, the sub-10 barrier started to be broken more and more often, and from 2008 through 2010, more than 10 athletes broke this 10-second barrier every season. But then, after the 2010 season, yet another seismic shift took place. Because starting in 2011, a total of 20 athletes managed to break 10, a new record at the time. And for the remainder of the 2010s, it was more than normal for at least 20 runners to break 10 in a calendar year, with 2015 setting a brand new record at 27 total athletes going under 10 seconds. Clearly, Bolt had a big influence on athletes worldwide running quicker marks. But what happened after 2020? Well, that's when the floodgates officially opened. Starting in 2021, we saw 24 athletes breaking 10, followed by 30, then 39, then 35, and then 38 athletes in 2025. Seeing 10 athletes break 10 back in the early 2000s was already unachievable, but now we have officially tripled that amount in the modern era of sprinting for each track and field season. And this incredible depth has led to some unforgettable sprinting moments. It brought us the 2024 Olympic final, where Noah Lyles beat out Kashane Thompson in 9.79 seconds, and every single athlete behind them also broke 10. It also brought us the deepest 200 field in history in the 2025 World Champs, where even a 19.65 was not enough to make the podium. Obviously, the expectation of sprinters in the 2020s is significantly higher than what was expected some 20 years ago. But what about 2026? What about this season? Go ahead and take a guess at how many athletes have broken 10 already. And remember, this season is far from over. Go ahead and take a few seconds. Well, unbelievably, a total of 47 athletes have already broken 10 seconds in 2026, a huge new record, and yet we're still in the middle of the year. The modern landscape of sprinting almost requires you to go under 10 if you want any chance at an international victory. In fact, you could argue that a 9.90 is in fact the new 10.0. This season alone, we have seen more sub-10s from more countries than any year in the past. So the question stands, does this mean that the men's 100 world record is officially set to fall this year? I mean, we've already seen historic world records go down in the men's marathon, as Sebastian Sawe ran a 1:59.30, and we also saw a brand new world record in the men's mile, as Josh Kerr ran a 3:42.66. So wouldn't it make perfect sense that the other big event, the men's 100, was next up on the chopping block? Well, not exactly. You see, in 2026, the expectation for an athlete is to run pretty often on the international circuit, and this also includes the indoor season. Take Jordan Anthony, for example, this year's world indoor champ in the 60 with a blistering time of 6.41, a very impressive clocking, and even though he's already run under 10 4 separate times during the outdoor year, his season's best is still from his season opener at the Tom Jones Invite, where he ran a time of 9.91. Anthony is one of many up-and-coming talents right now that have incredible top potential, but still haven't quite mastered the art of peaking at the right time. If we go back to the year 2008 when Bolt made his world record, we can see that Usain's season was one of the more historic years in sprinting. He broke the world record first off in New York with a 9.72. He then shocked the world with his 9.69 at the Beijing Olympics in front of a huge international crowd. And then, just 20 days after the Beijing Games, Bolt ran one of the most underrated races in history at the Brussels Diamond League meeting on September 5th, where he ran a 9.77 into a headwind of negative 1.3 meters per second. And adjusted for wind, this is almost the exact same expectation as his Olympic final performance in Beijing. The point of bringing up Bolt here is to show that he simply understood the assignment of running your fastest when it mattered the most. And this wasn't just exclusive to 2008. He managed to repeat this goal for various world champs and Olympic Games in the future. And one of the big reasons why he continued to make history during these global finals was because Usain Bolt never ran during the indoor season. Now, I'm not saying that running indoors is always detrimental. It's definitely helped Noah Lyles over the years, increasing his starting abilities, and it's also given solid exposure for athletes. But for those who run long and grueling seasons, often stretching from early January all the way to September or even October, it can often lead to over-racing, and it can often lead to slowing down in the most important moments of the year. Indeed, 2026 has already reached historic numbers of athletes getting under 10 seconds. But does this mean that someone out there, some new name in sprinting, or perhaps a seasoned veteran, is destined to run a 9:57 this year? Well, no. But it could mean that a new standard of sprinting is incoming, and it could lead to a very quick time in 2026, or 2027, or the Olympic season of 2028. Now, I do understand that some people out there do not like quick times run in the wind, and they also don't like when I make a big deal out of it. For instance, when we covered Lamont Marcel Jacobs running a 9:67 with a positive 4.1 meters per second tailwind, many people wrote it off as a complete joke, saying that anyone could run that kind of time with that kind of wind. And while a tailwind definitely makes you slightly faster, let me drop some knowledge on your heads. Here's the list of the top 10 fastest men in history under any wind condition. And yet, Marcel Jacobs is here in second place with his windy 9:67. And as you can see, he's placed just ahead of Tyson Gay with his 9:68 from the year 2008. And if you'll notice, they both have the exact same wind reading. After running this 9:68 in the 2008 Olympic trials, Tyson unfortunately got injured moving into the Beijing Olympics, so his presence wasn't nearly as powerful as many expected. However, the following season in 2009, Tyson returned with a vengeance, running a 9:71 American record in the Berlin World Championships. But then, in the Shanghai Diamond League just a few weeks later, he ran another American record of 9.69, and he achieved this performance with legal wind. Now, does this mean that I expect Lamont Marcel Jacobs to run a 9:69 with wind legal conditions in 2026? No, not really, I don't. But I would not be surprised to see him either challenge his European record of 9.80 or outright breaking it. He is clearly in good form this year, and if he can put the right race together at the right time, there is a real chance that this man could fly. But in looking beyond just Jacobs, for the top 10 fastest all-conditions men's 100s, we also have Kenny Bednarek and Kayinsola Ajayi in this top 10, and they both achieved a 9.72 in 2026. I am a firm believer that a rising tide does in fact lift all ships, and given the historic depth and quick times we've already seen in 2026, I have a feeling that at least one athlete is set to do something very special this season, and I think that will come in the form of a 9.72 to a 9.74 wind legal in 2026. It could be Kenny Bednarek with his updated starting abilities, or we could be in store for a very quick time from Oblique Seville of Jamaica, last year's world champion. Or perhaps it will in fact be Kayinsola Ajayi from Nigeria, who has been absolutely on fire in 2026. Or it could be Lamont Jacobs. Or it could be Noah Lyles, the defending Olympic champion in the 100. I would love to hear your thoughts on your expectations in 2026, and I'd also love to hear your feelings on the true insane depth in the men's 100. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.